Now, here is the host of Jeopardy!
Many of you, regular competition champion, Rolando. Thank you, Mr.
Jeopardy's won, I guess, more Emmys than any other quiz show over the years. Very, very long tradition. What's changed in terms of the technology that you've used on the show over the years?
Oh gosh, if you're too young to remember the original Jeopardy program, which aired from 1964 to 74.
Play Jeopardy! There are your 6 categories for this half.
They would reveal the categories and the clues by hand, and occasionally you would see the person's hand, the technician's hand, in the shot, raising the card to reveal the clue. Then we went to computers, and since I took over in 1984, we have added more and more technology each year. We've got video clues, audio clues. We have hired 4 very bright people, the Clue Crew, who travel around the world to record clues for us.
I graduated from the University of Southern California a little over 3 years ago, and since then I've been pursuing my dream as a television journalist.
Unfortunately, it's what I'm about to do here.
There are probably other businesses that use the internet as much as we do, but I don't know what they are.
So how did you manage before the internet?
You know, back in the dark ages, it's hard even to remember. But I'll tell you, I'll give you an example. Back in the old days, the writers and researchers used to have. They only worked 4 days a week in the office, and one day was called a library day, and they all went to the library.
So now that there's an internet, you all get Fridays off.
No. Now my favorite category I ever wrote is when I came up with the idea of what if Dr. Seuss had written Shakespeare, and I called it Dr. Seuss Meets the Bard. And what I did was I wrote clues as if someone in a famous play were talking, but it was in the language of something that Dr. Seuss would have written.
Dr. Seuss meets the Bard. Kiss me, Kate, though you're a meanie.
Now go cook some spaghettini.
You can see our brand new set, which reflects the latest technology that Sony has. We have flat screens, we're into high definition. In a few years, I'm sure we'll be doing 3-dimensional television also.
And during the transition to HD, were there any snags, or was it a smooth process? I mean, that's a major overhaul, right, of equipment and everything.
Well, it wasn't a big problem for me because it didn't change my hosting activity, although one thing I did notice was that I look better in high-def television than I did before.
We went out and found the best HD makeup consultants that we could find. And what we learned is that whereas you would think that because the camera is so unforgiving that the makeup should be thicker to cover any flaws, it's just the opposite. The makeup is applied with airbrushing.
You're kidding me?
No.
Well, that's technology right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a very fine mist, and it makes for a much softer look.
It is easier now for people to try out for the program because they can do it on the internet. And in terms of the viewers, well, the technology has moved out so far now that you can pick up your cell phone and you can play Jeopardy while it airs in any city in America or in Canada, and it gives you a choice of 3 possible responses. And if you're really fast, you get to punch in, and if you do it ahead of the contestants, you'll wind up winning prizes.
And this will place you all in jeopardy.
You look really nervous. He's so nice and calm.
Do I look nervous?
I'm on heavy drugs.